I'm Nicole Hill. I have my father, Robert Hill, my mom, Cheryl Hill, and my brother, Joshua Flores, listening in on my speech today. This is my note card that I will be using. So imagine one day you wake up and all the rights you had the day before has been taken away from you just because you're of a certain gender and you have decided to take precautions to protect you or better your health. I can relate to a scenario like this because I am of the female gender. The government is allowing employers to opt out on providing coverage for their employees because of certain different religious beliefs and viewpoints on prioritization. In my speech today, I will be persuading you as to why the government shouldn't stop funding on birth control. So in my first point, I will be covering the government's main problems for why they did what they did to stop the funding. The Trump administration implemented a new rule that says that employers are allowed to opt out on coverage for their employees who want to have birth control. They announced a new rule that eliminated the Affordable Care Act's requirement that all insurance plans must provide coverage for birth control without a copay. With this rule in place, it allows any employer to deny any woman who asks for birth control just because they can. The second problem that with this rule being implemented is that it makes it very hard for women to obtain birth control if they want to have it. 2 million women a year rely on Planned Parenthood centers to get birth control. Also, 9 out of 10 women of the reproductive age will use birth control in their lifetime. And that is a large portion of our society in this nation. A third problem that this new rule causes is that it makes it very hard for women with low incomes to get birth control because they don't have the coverage they need to help pay for it. It also eliminates the privilege that healthcare providers have, so they can provide information to women about abortion and where they can get birth control. This is a problem because most women use birth control to prevent from getting pregnant. It is one of the most common kinds of contraceptives, but it can also be used for much more than that, such as controlling chronic acne, helping regulate women's menstrual cycles, and also for to help imbalance hormones. And without the knowledge and availability to get birth control, a lot more accidental pregnancies would happen, and with more accidental pregnancies, more women would be willing to go and get abortions. And without healthcare providers being able to provide information to these women about birth control and abortion, most women won't know where to get one, what kind of procedure is going to happen, what to expect, why they should have been on a certain kind of birth control, and so many different factors that can all be avoided. In my next point, I will be covering causes that made the administration implement this rule. One cause that made the administration implement this rule was employers' religious beliefs. Employers' religious beliefs were making them uncomfortable with providing healthcare to women who wanted to use birth control because they don't believe in the use of contraceptives. The Roman Catholic Church opposes most methods of birth control, and some other religious groups also object to certain forms of birth control. My second cause is that much of the chain of command in the administration have certain beliefs that affect their decision as to why we shouldn't fund birth control, such as Title X National Family Program Overseer Teresa Manning. She claims that contraceptive doesn't work and that the government doesn't need to be responsible for funding family planning programs. A third cause is that women's health care has been a main topic of discussion in the Trump administration since Trump has started running in the office. The administration backed a legislation that would end maternity coverage, force new moms to go back to work before they're ready, raise insurance costs for women, ban abortion coverage, and require people with pre-existing conditions such as survivors of domestic violence to pay for health insurance. And there's really one main solution as to how we can solve all of these problems. And the main solution that needs to be made is that the administration needs to do much more research about the positive and the negative effects on birth control and do what's going to be best for the greater good, not worry about whose feelings are going to get hurt because of certain beliefs. This is a free country and everybody's allowed to do what they feel is best, and we shouldn't be focused on whose beliefs and feelings are going to get hurt. A lot of people in the chain of command that helped make the decision to implement this new rule believe false research that has been told onto them and that affects their opinion on what birth control does, such as HHS top spokesman Charmaine Yost, who believes that abortion causes breast cancer. Another solution is that employers who have employees that want to get coverage on birth control can provide separate health care insurance that they don't have to worry about that will provide birth control for their employees. And another solution is that we should educate the administration on the other amazing effects birth control has and the other things that women use it for other than just a contraceptive. Birth control is mainly used as a contraceptive, but it's not only for the women. Most couples use birth control so they can have safe and protected sex because most couples aren't ready to have a family yet. And it should be their decision on whether or not if they want to start a family yet. And if we take away coverage on birth control and families that don't have birth control accidentally get pregnant, that could cause them to lead to wanting to get an abortion. And like I said previously in my speech, healthcare providers don't provide information on abortion anymore, and it just causes a whole chain of problems that can just be solved by giving the coverage they need for what they want to do to protect themselves. Another solution that why we should cover birth control is because it does so much more than just being a contraceptive. Many women use it to help with chronic acne, to prevent bone thinning, to prevent cysts in breasts and ovaries, to prevent endometrial and ovarian cancers, and also so it can prevent serious infections in the fallopian tubes, ovaries, and the uterus, and prevent anemia, and much, much, much more. There are many reasons why birth control needs to be funded again on healthcare plans that go beyond the eye can see. In conclusion, the problem of not funding birth control can be very easily solved by providing more proper research and understanding to the administration, and so that way they can understand what's going to be best for the greater good of the nation. All in all, the Trump administration needs to reconsider the funding for birth control coverage. Birth control is much more than just a safe way to have sex, and this really needs to be expressed more, and it really needs to be understood by people as well. Because if it understood that it's more than just a contraceptive and that it can really help cause less problems in the future for many people in the nation, not only women but men too, it will be better. It'll change the decision of the administration on to why it should be funded. Thank you.